Flame burned. Engines armed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engines running. Launch commit. Hold up. Roger, clock. That's okay, flight. All engines. Clock start, flight. Roger, clock. Hold down the conference. Hold power! Copy, tower. Houston, copy. Flight Fido, we're going the IC. Roger, Fido. Roger. Flight, we've lost the ICC. They're switching out. Clear.
Stage is reporting ready for launch. T-minus 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 5, 4. We have ignition. All engines are running. We have liftoff. We have liftoff at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The tower has...
My God, our building's shaking here. Our building's shaking. the building shaking. This big glass window is shaking. We're holding it with our hands. Look at that rocket go into the clouds at 3,000 feet. The roar is terrific. Look at it going.
T-minus 30 seconds and counting. Number one swing arm now being retracted from the Saturn V vehicle. 25 seconds and counting. T-minus 20, still counting at this time. T-minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. We have ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have commit. We have liftoff. Liftoff at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 5 seconds into the flight. We're looking good. We have cleared the tower. We have
understand tower clearance. Houston Center assumes control. Pitch and roll program started. Our vehicle going now to an azimuth heading of 72 degrees. All 5 F1 engines firing, looking good. Given a green light at this time from range safety. Roll program is completed now. Pitch profile still in progress. 40 seconds. Mark 45 seconds. Our vehicle well beyond the beach now. Our IP impact point moving out well over water as desired. Mark 56 seconds. Our cabin pressure is relieving, coming down now from a pad base 16 pounds per square inch. Looking good. Mark 1 minute, 10 seconds coming up on a period of maximum aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. Still looking good. Mark 1 minute, 25 seconds. Pass through max Q. Still looking good. Now 10 nautical miles in altitude, heading out beyond the Earth's atmosphere. We're on our way. Mark 1 minute, 45 seconds, 14 nautical miles in altitude, 12 nautical miles downrange. Velocity at this time, 4,600 feet per second and accelerating. Mark 2 minutes, Flight Director Cliff Charlesworth now polling members of his flight control team as to our status for staging, and we're standing by. Engine has shut down. Our 4 outboard engines have shut down. Booster engineer reports ignition on our second stage. Our first stage will be falling away shortly now. It's day's work done. Again, the greatest weightlifting effort ever.
T-minus 60 seconds and counting. T-minus 60 seconds and counting. The vehicle now is completely pressurized. We're coming up on a power transfer shortly. T-minus 50 seconds and counting. We have the power transfer. We're now on the flight batteries within the launch vehicle. 45 seconds. Final reports coming from Frank Borman at this time. Final look at the switch list aboard the spacecraft. 35 seconds and counting. We'll lead up to an ignition sequence start at 8.9 seconds. This will lead up, as we build up the thrust, to a liftoff. If all goes well, it's 0. We've just passed the 25-second mark in the count. 20 seconds, all aspects. We are still go at this time. T-minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. We have ignition sequence start. The engines are armed. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have commit. We have liftoff. Liftoff at 7:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Looks good.
Cleared the tower.
Oh, and there's the rumble in our building. It looks good. It looks like a good flight. It's a beautiful takeoff so far. This building is shaking under us. Our camera platform is shaking. But what a beautiful flight. Man perhaps on the way to the moon, if all continues to go well. What a buffeting we're taking here. It's probably more severe than the men in the spacecraft itself.
Then we're a little more than half mile into the sky and about nearly 4 miles downrange.
You're now hearing the voice of Paul Haney at Mission Control in Houston. And our great VU cameras are picking up the spacecraft.
1 minute 40 seconds. All looks great.
Now in 15 seconds, the inboard engine should cut off on that first stage. That's the one inboard engine.
Mile and 6/10 into the mission, and Frank Borman has confirmed each event as it's been passed to him by Mike Collins at this point. The crew has been given a go for staging. Inboard out on time, Frank Borman says.
25 more
inboard
seconds,
engines.
the other 4 engines of the first stage should cut out.
2 minutes, 25 seconds.
The rocket then will be 20 miles high and going 3,000 miles an hour. And there is the
We see
staging.
an S1C, the first stage cut off. S2 has ignited, we can confirm. And the thrust looks good. All engines, all sources show the second stage is burning perfectly.
60 seconds and counting. We are go for a mission to the moon at this time. The second stage tanks now pressurizing, and we're coming up on the power transfer. 50 seconds and counting. We have now switched to internal power satisfactorily on the batteries of the first stage, all 3 stages of the Saturn V vehicle. 40 seconds and counting. Tom Stafford making a final check of his computer. The vehicle, all stages pressurized at this time. We're waiting for the swing arms to come back. One should be coming back at this time, a second one at 17 seconds. Tom Stafford reports they are go. We're coming up in the 20-second mark. T-minus 20 seconds and counting. 17 seconds and counting. Guidance internal. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. We have ignition sequence start. Engines on. 5, 4, 3, 2. All engines running. Launch commit. Liftoff. We have liftoff 49 minutes past the hour. Stafford reports the clock has started. The tower is clear.
Tom Stafford acknowledges the roll and pitch program to put Apollo 2 on the proper course.
What a beautiful sight that is. Picture will break up a little bit because we are getting buffeted here now by the tremendous reverberations from that great engine. The building is shaking, the cameras are shaking. Rockets disappearing into the clouds. Back out through that cloud layer. It looks like it's go. It looks like everything is going very well. Like a beauty so far.
Yeah, the pressure is relieving.
It's almost directly overhead here.
Mile, 3.3 nautical miles high.
Voice you're hearing now is Jack Riley, Mission Control in Houston.
What a ride, babe. What a ride.
It's Sounds like Stafford saying, what a nice ride.
Gene Cernan reporting, what a ride.
Roger. Going 3 minutes 2. Roger. Ken, you're through the max Q. You're looking good. 240 G's. You're looking beautiful.
One minute, 44 seconds, downrange 7 miles, 12 miles high.
They successfully passed through Max Q.
Roger, copy, Tom.
You're hearing communication from the spacecraft.
Code 1 Charlie, you're looking great.
You're hearing
Go
their...
for staging, 10.
You're hearing the voice of the command pilot, Tom Stafford,
Right.
and the voice of Mission Control in Houston.
Inboard engines are out.
Roger, copy, Tom. EDS off, 10.
Charlie Duke asking the crew to turn off their emergency detection system.
That staging you saw there,
Roger.
that was the first
Good
stage.
ignition on the second stage.
First stage blowing away from the rocket, leaving now just the second stage, third stage, and the rocket.
10 on the S2. It's looking good. Confirm EDS off. Roger.
Flight dynamics reports trajectory go at 3 minutes 9 seconds, downrange 81 miles, 46 miles high. Second plane separation, that's the skirt around the engines on the second stage.
Plane set.
And the launch escape tower has jettisoned.
Man, that staging was quite a sequence.
Right, sounded like it.
And we have guidance initiated.
We confirm that, 10.
Roger.
Yes, it's looking beautiful, Tom. Everything's copacetic.
Roger.
We're approaching the 60-second mark on the Apollo 11 mission. T-minus 60 seconds and counting. We passed T-minus 60. 55 seconds and counting. Neil Armstrong just reported back. It's been a real smooth countdown. We passed the 50-second mark. Power transfer is complete. We're on internal power with the launch vehicle at this time. 40 seconds away from the Apollo 11 liftoff. All the second stage tanks now pressurized. 35 seconds and counting. We are still go with Apollo 11. 30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
Sure, we got a roll program.
Neil Armstrong reporting the roll and pitch program, which puts Apollo 11 on proper heading. Plus 30 seconds.
Roll's complete and the pitch is programming. One Bravo.
1 Bravo is a abort control mode. Altitude's 2 miles.
Apollo 11 Houston, you're good at 1 minute.
Downrange 1 mile, altitude 4 miles now. Velocity 2,195 feet per second.
Start model pressure red line is lit. I don't... Where? Yeah, it don't make a difference. No difference. Okay, let's punch them out. Everything is go, Ralph.
We're through the region of maximum dynamic pressure now.
Yeah, everything looks good here. We're at 1350 on the start bottle.
Set 8 miles downrange, 12 miles high. Velocity 4,000 feet per second.
Stand by for mode 1 Charlie. Mark, mode 1 Charlie.
1 Charlie.
Cliff Charlesworth taking a staging status.
This is Houston, you are go for staging.
Inboard cutoff.
Inboard engines out.
I'm inboard cutoff.
Downrange 35 miles, 30 miles high. Standing by for the outboard engine cut down now.
Staging. And ignition.
S4B is go.
11 Houston, thrust is go. All engines, you're looking good.
Roger, you're loud and clear, Houston.
At 3 minutes, downrange 70 miles, 43 miles high, velocity 9,300 feet per second.
T-minus 60 seconds and counting. We passed T-minus 60. 55 seconds and counting. Neil Armstrong just reported back. It's been a real smooth countdown. We passed the 50-second mark. Power transfer is complete. We're on internal power with the launch vehicle at this time. 40 seconds away from the Apollo 11 liftoff. All the second stage tanks now pressurized. 35 seconds and counting. We are still go with Apollo 11. 30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
We got a roll program.
Neil Armstrong reporting the roll and pitch program, which puts Apollo 11 on proper heading. Plus 30 seconds.
Roll's complete and the pitch is programming. One Bravo.
1 Bravo is a abort control mode. Altitude's 2 miles.
Apollo 11 Houston, you're good at 1 minute.
Downrange 1 mile, altitude 4 miles now. Velocity 2,195 feet per second.
Start model pressure red line is lit. I don't... Where? Yeah, it don't make a difference. No difference. Okay, let's punch them out. Everything is go, Ralph.
We're through the region of maximum dynamic pressure now.
Yeah, everything looks good here. We're at 1350 on the start bottle.
Set 8 miles downrange, 12 miles high. Velocity 4,000 feet per second.
Stand by for mode 1 Charlie. Mark, mode 1 Charlie.
1 Charlie.
Cliff Charlesworth taking a staging status.
This is Houston, you are go for staging.
Inboard cutoff.
Inboard engines out.
I'm inboard cutoff.
Downrange 35 miles, 30 miles high. Standing by for the outboard engine cut down now.
Staging. And ignition.
S4B is go.
11 Houston, thrust is go. All engines, you're looking good. Roger, you're loud and clear, Houston.
At 3 minutes, downrange 70 miles, 43 miles high, velocity 9,300 feet per second.
We got skirt zip. Roger, we confirm skirt zip. Tower's gone. Roger, tower.
Neil Armstrong confirming both the engine skirt separation and the launch escape tower separation.
Houston, be advised the visual is go today. This is Houston, roger out. Yeah, they finally gave me a window to look at.
80-second mark has now been passed. We'll go on full internal power at the 50-second mark in the countdown. Guidance system goes on internal at 17 seconds, leading up to the ignition sequence at 8.9 seconds. We're approaching the 60-second mark on the Apollo 11 mission. T-minus 60 seconds and counting. We passed T-minus 60. 55 seconds and counting. Neil Armstrong just reported back. It's been a real smooth countdown. We passed the 50-second mark. Power transfer is complete. We're on internal power with the launch vehicle at this time. 40 seconds away from the Apollo 11 liftoff. All the second stage tanks now pressurized. 35 seconds and counting. We are still go with Apollo 11. 30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
Here we got a roll program.
Neil Armstrong reporting the roll and pitch program, which puts Apollo 11 on a proper heading. Plus 30 seconds.
Roll complete and pitches program. One Bravo
is a abort control mode. Altitude's 2 miles.
All 11 Houston, you're good at 1 minute.
Downrange 1 mile, altitude 4 miles now. Velocity 2,195 feet per second. We're through the region of maximum dynamic pressure now. Set 8 miles downrange.
Gave credit for his
Velocity 4,000 feet per second.
Stand by for mode 1 Charlie. Mark, mode 1 Charlie. 1 Charlie.
Cliff Charlesworth taking a staging status.
This is Houston, you are go for staging. Inboard cutoff.
Inboard engines out.
I'm inboard cutoff.
Downrange 35 miles, 30 miles high. Standing by for the outboard engine cut down now.
There it is, right on the tick.
And ignition. Houston, thrust is go. All engines, you're looking good. Hi, Roger. You're loud and clear, Houston.
At 3 minutes, downrange 70 miles, 43 miles high, velocity 9,300 feet per second.
We got skirt step. Roger, we confirm skirt step. Tower's gone. Roger, tower.
Neil Armstrong confirming both the engine skirt separation and the launch escape tower separation.
Mark, T-minus 60 seconds and counting, T-minus 60. Alan Bean running up the volume on his VHF. 50 seconds and counting, 50. We've now got internal power with the launch vehicle. We're on the internal batteries in the 3 stages of the Saturn V. T-minus 40 seconds and counting. Spacecraft commander now performing his final function, pressing the button to align the guidance and control system of the spacecraft. Coming up on 30. Mark, T-minus 30 seconds and counting, T-minus 30. 25 seconds and counting, we're still proceeding. T-minus 20. 17 seconds, swing arm back. We have guidance internal. 10, 9, 8, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running, commit, liftoff. We have liftoff, 11:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pete Conrad reports that your program is in. Tower clear.
Pete Conrad reporting the roll and pitch program that took Apollo 12 on the proper course. Altitude at 1.5 miles.
Roll complete. Roger, Pete.
40 seconds. Altitude 1.5 miles now. Velocity 1,592 feet per second.
Okay, we just lost the platform, gang. I don't know what happened here. We had everything in the world drop out. Roger.
+1.
Fuel cell lights and AC bus light. Fuel cell disconnect. AC bus overload 1 and 2. Main bus A and B out.
And at this moment you are now watching the simulation that I spoke of before, since we've lost sight of them above the clouds. Simulation of the rocket climbing up there through 40,500 feet, 53,600 feet, going at almost 2,000 miles an hour.
SCE auxiliary. SCE auxiliary.
You hear they're going on to some of the backup power systems. They've had a warning in one of the power
Reports the readings back.
1 Charlie. 1 Charlie.
Flight Director Jerry Griffin taking a staging status now. Apollo 12 downrange, range 70 miles. Altitude 20 miles.
Apollo 12 Houston, try to reset your fuel cells now.
We haven't heard them yet get the go for the staging of the
Board
first
engine
stage.
out on schedule. Altitude 33 miles, downrange 45.
Seconds. And there's the staging of the first stage.
Got a good S2, gang. Roger, we copy. Pete, you're looking good.
Good staging and good thrust on the second stage.
Right now, there are problems here. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure if you get hit by lightning. Your thrust is looking good, Pete. Okay, I have a good GDC
look good down here. I think we need to do a little more all-weather testing. Amen.
There goes the launch escape pod.
The tower again, that's a little clean. We look good. Good show feature in Mode 2.
Launch escape tower has been jettisoned on schedule. And we confirm the engine skirt separation also. Downrange 122 miles, altitude 61 miles, velocity 10,000 feet per second.
We've got an ISS light on, and we've got a cycling CO2 partial pressure high, which I don't bother me particularly, and we have reset all the fuel cells, we have all the buses back on the line, and we'll just square up the platform when we get into orbit. Roger, Pete. That sounds good.
We're now approaching the T-minus 1 minute mark. T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 1 minute.
Got even,
and counting.
more buffeting today
now
because of the low cloud cover.
Of our countdown.
We get quite a shaking
at the 30-second mark.
That may keep the sound down, you're right. Interesting one. Let's see if the place holds together.
As we pass the T-minus 50-second mark, the power transfer takes place. First stage, second stage, third stage, and the instrument unit going to internal power. T-minus 37 seconds, and our count continues to go well. We'll be looking for an ignition of those 5 first stage engines at the T-minus 8.9 second mark. We've passed T-minus 30, T-minus 25 seconds and counting, and Apollo 13 is go. T-minus 20 seconds, T-minus 20 seconds and counting. 17, guidance release, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence has started. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have commit and we have liftoff at 2:13. The Saturn V building up to 7.6 million pounds of thrust, and it has cleared the tower.
Running out of time.
Mission control.
Here we go. It's a beauty. It's another beauty.
No, I think it's a Jack's finest flight.
The trajectory looks good. They show a 1/2 mile an altitude at this time.
13 Houston, go at 30 seconds. Roll completed at 150. Roger that. Be advised below 1 Bravo. Mark, 1 Bravo. 1 Houston in.
Altitude 1.2 miles.
It's shaking here, but what a beautiful flight.
Watching her for a long way. That cloud cover isn't interfering yet.
No, it's just almost
getting into it.
There it is.
13 Houston, go at 1. We show the cabin relieving. 13, roger.
And at 1 minute 10 seconds, we show an altitude of 4.1 nautical miles. Downrange 1 mile.
And we're still seeing it quite well through that haze.
All sources continue to report where we go. The trajectory on our plot boards is right on the pre-planned line.
It's a good one. Looks like a very good one. There, you can see that.
And the booster engineer reports we're now through the region of maximum dynamic pressure, and we're go.
That's one of the areas you worry about, is that maximum dynamic pressure, because every bit of that outer surface is sensitive to this tremendous pressure that builds up due to the velocity in the atmosphere. Yeah, really, that's probably one of the more traumatic periods for training, at least.
13 Houston, stand by for mode 1 Charlie. Mark, you're 1 Charlie. Mark, 1 Charlie.
Oh,
and
good communication.
Go for staging. Go for staging, Roger. We're EDS, Daniel.
Everything. Now 17 miles coming up on staging.
Everything right on time. Staging coming up. That means the cutoff of the first stage engines.
Jim Lovell reports the inboard engine has shut down as scheduled.
Amazing, that big booster's already history.
We confirm inboard out 13. You're looking good. Roger.
It's due to that big booster splashes down in the...
Coming up on 30 miles altitude.
Splashes down in the Atlantic in about 20 minutes. You can see there, that's one of the static cameras.
They're washing down.
Yeah. Thousands of gallons of water pour forth there to cool and to put out any little fires that may have started.
13 Houston, trajectory's good, thrust is good.
satisfy those pollution-minded people. That was hydrogen and oxygen, so we weren't polluting today.
We're now 46 miles high, 70 miles, 78 miles downrange. Skirt. Tower jet.
That's the interstage.
We confirm skirt sep, roger. Tower jet, mode 2, Jim, looking good.
Mode 2.
Do you see the launch tower off?
Now they can look out, too. That blue's protective cover goes with that tower. It's like an ice cream
Launch
cone over
vehicle.
the top. And as a result, now the windows are all open to view.
This is the first view they've had.
Yes, it is. There's one small window that they can look out, of course, to communicate with people outside the spacecraft when they're on the launch pad.
CMC is go. Okay, thank you.
Communicate with visual signals, I mean. And now all of a sudden there are two guys that are looking at that same beautiful view you've been hearing us all talk about. And
Coming
it
up
really
now in
is a
4
beautiful
minutes.
view.
We're now at an altitude of 63 miles.
This is Kennedy Launch Control, coming up in 60 seconds. Mark, T-minus 60 seconds and counting. Still go with the count. First stage, tanks are now pressurized as our status board gives us a rundown on the automatic sequence. 50 seconds and counting. We've now gone on internal power on the internal batteries of the Saturn V as the count continues. 40 seconds and counting. Alan Shepard reports that he's performing his final guidance alignment, the final maneuver the astronauts perform before liftoff. 30 seconds and counting. Stu Russo just said, thanks, it's been a good count. 25 seconds and counting. We are still go. 20 seconds. Guidance alert. The guidance system now going internal. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Launch commit. Liftoff. We have liftoff with Apollo 14. 3 minutes past the hour. The tower is clear.
Houston is controlling. Good thrust now. 60 seconds. Pitch and roll program started. 14 maneuvering to a proper flight course.
Okay, Houston, roll complete.
Roger, roll complete. Shepard reports roll program completed. Pitch profile still in progress. 37 seconds.
Mark, 1 Bravo now.
Okay, we're 1 Bravo.
Capcom, course and range never. Cabin pressure coming down, adjusting from sea level to a space environment.
We have a remote camera
Status
working,
check
right?
in mission control, coming up all greens on the flight director's console.
In Houston, everything looks good here on the ground.
Right.
How
1
about
minute,
that picture,
19
Ron?
seconds
That's
coming
great.
up on period of maximum
This must be-
aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle.
That camera you see is further downrange. It's down the Florida coast here, and apparently they've got a clear shot.
I think this is the Vero Beach camera, in fact,
Yeah.
way down there. Yes, it looks great.
It's sort of 60 miles down the coast.
1 minute, 35 seconds, 9 nautical miles in altitude, 5 nautical miles downrange. Velocity now reading 3,340 feet per second.
They've been through the first real test, that maximum dynamic pressure area. That came at 1 minute, 25 seconds into the flight. That's where they get the maximum buffeting as they escape.
Pass through max Q.
Mode 1 Charlie. Mark, 1 Charlie now.
We're 1 Charlie. EDS auto's off.
We ought to be seeing the first
2
stage
minutes, 5
shut down
seconds
now.
coming up on center engine shutdown. 2 minutes, 12 seconds, 20 nautical miles in altitude.
Inboard cutoff.
Roger, inboard.
Center engine shut down on time.
That's
2 minutes, 25 seconds, 25 nautical miles in altitude, 30 nautical miles downrange.
Another 15 seconds, all of those first stage engines cut down. The other 4 in the outer
Mark,
ring.
2 minutes, 35 seconds, coming up on staging.
That's a great shot.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Roger.
And separation.
Roger.
Ignition on 5.
Roger.
Great. The next stage is
At
going.
staging,
It's
the Shepard
separating.
crew now riding on 5 good second stage engines.
On 5 engine.
Look at that. You can see that big first stage dropping back there.
Good thrust on all 5.
This is the one we hope to fly back
The giant
sometime in the
first stage
future.
falling away now. Its day's work done.
That's a frightening,
3 minutes, 10 seconds coming up on skirt sep and tower jettison.
frightening explosion when that thing separates. You think the whole thing's gone.
You should see it from the inside. You can see it, really.
There you see the tower jettison.
And now they can all look out. That's the tower that had more power than Al flew on before. There she goes.
Roger that.
Great sequence.
That's the best picture.
3 minutes, 35 seconds. 14 now, 33 feet shorter, 9,000 pounds lighter, moving out well beyond the Earth's atmosphere. We show an altitude of 16 nautical miles.
That's the tower right at the top of the Saturn that would pull the command module free in case there were a catastrophic disaster in the
Mark, 3 minutes, 55 seconds, 63 nautical miles in altitude, 143 nautical miles downrange, velocity now.
In that 4 minutes, trajectory and guidance look good.
We now get indications from our status board that all is still going well, and the third stage is now completely pressurized. Coming up shortly on the 1 minute mark, we're now 70 seconds and counting. Second stage tanks are pressurized as our countdown continues. Mark, T-minus 60 seconds and counting on Apollo 15. The astronauts are go, launch vehicle and spacecraft components all go as our countdown proceeds. Now 50 seconds, we have the power transfer. The vehicle now on the battery power in the vehicle, and all is still going well. Lunar module pilot Jim Irwin making some final checks, now passing the 40-second mark. Spacecraft Commander Dave Scott now has made his final check. That is aligning the guidance system. 30 seconds and counting. The guidance system will go internal at the 17-second mark. Now 25 seconds. We have complete clearance to launch. We are go. 20. 15 seconds. Guidance internal. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence start. Engines armed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engines running. Launch commit. Liftoff. We have liftoff at 9:34 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The tower is clear.
And we have a roll program.
Roger. You have good thrust on all 5 engines.
Settings Gordo, roll complete.
Roger.
And we have a 50 program.
Roger.
Roger, 1 Bravo.
Booster Systems Engineer reports to Flight Director that S1C stage looking good.
Houston, everything looks perfect down here.
Okay, looks clear up here, Gordo.
Going through maximum dynamic pressure at this time. S1C engines gulping 3 tons of fuel per second.
Inboard.
Roger, inboard.
That was the center engine cutting off. 4 still burning.
Flight dynamics reports go for staging.
Staging means the separation of the first stage from the remainder of the rocket. There you are.
Good stage. Roger.
S-10 Houston, you have good thrust on the S2. All 5 are good.
Okay.
That first stage will land in the ocean about
73 miles downrange, 47.9 altitude.
T-minus 90 seconds and counting. T-minus 90 seconds and counting. At T-minus 1 minute 15 seconds, the spacecraft batteries will be turned on for launch. These batteries will give an additional power source to the spacecraft, as well as be acting as a backup for the fuel cells. The third stage liquid hydrogen tanks now pressurized. All third stage tanks pressurized. Second stage tanks also pressurized. T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 1 minute and counting. Now moving into the final minute of the count. We'll be standing by for the switch over to internal power. Switch over taking place at this time, going on internal power. T-minus 45 seconds and counting. Guidance aligned, just announced by John Young. That will be the last action taken by the crew aboard the spacecraft. T-minus 35 and counting. Countdown continuing to go well. T-minus 30. T-minus 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. Guidance release. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. We have ignition sequence start. The engine's now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. We have a launch commit and we have a liftoff. The swing arm moving back. The Saturn V lifting off the pad, building up thrust. We've cleared the tower.
Houston is now controlling. We have good thrust on all 5. Roger.
Pitch and roll program started. Good. 16 now maneuvering towards proper flight path attitude. Mark 27 seconds. 36 seconds. Roll program completed. Pitch profile in progress. 40 seconds. Mark 50 seconds. Cabin pressure relieving adjusting out.
Hold 1 Bravo. Roger, Mark. 1 Bravo. You're wet now, 16. Roger.
That call out from Capcom Gordon Fullerton says Apollo 16 now capable of water landing. Mark 1 minute 12 seconds coming up on period of maximum aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. One minute 22 seconds. 6 nautical miles in altitude, looking good.
That maximum dynamic pressure area is the
Mark 1 minute 30
one
seconds.
they watch for. That's when the vehicle takes the most severe buffeting of the entire liftoff, and it's critical, of course.
Mark 1 minute 41 seconds.
It's interesting how that
Pass through Max Q, still looking
above the altitude where it forms.
Everything looks good.
You can see that they're really
16 now 12.5 nautical miles in altitude. Young Duke Mattingly moving out to the outer traces of the Earth's atmosphere.
Stand by.
You see contrary lightly, of course, it's a vapor trail.
Mark 2 minutes 3 seconds. The status check and mission control by Flight Director Gene Krantz. A go, no go for staging.
We'll be able to see this, I think, with this beautiful shot, this new camera.
Coming up on center engine shutdown.
We'll be able to see the first stage shut down and then separate.
You're inboard. You're go for staging.
Center engine shutdown on time.
They've doubled the number of retro rockets for
2
the
minutes 28
station
seconds.
because
26 nautical miles
we had a little
altitude
trouble
with
with the
32 nautical miles downrange.
one on 15. It separated already,
2
but
minutes
not
35
far out
seconds.
to make everybody heavy. So they doubled the
2
number
minutes
of
40 seconds coming up
rockets
on
that
stage.
break them apart. There it goes.
Oh, spectacular.
Staging. Active ignition on the S2. Roger.
You even saw the bells of the
2 minutes, 53
It's amazing, isn't it? That camera
normal
really
staging, young Duke Mattingly now riding on 5 good second stage engines.
Going all 5 on the S2.
Ah, that's great.
3 minutes, 2 seconds, the giant first stage falling away now. Its day's work completed.
That's one of the
Apollo 16 now,
critical
46
points
nautical
is
miles
the,
altitude,
is
80
the
nautical
firing of
miles
that
downrange.
second
Coming up on
stage.
skirt
It
seven,
really is. And I
tower
think in
shaft.
the old days we had them all right at once. Now we've got so many engines, you have to have this staging, and
Right.
if those 5 engines don't start, it's a very short flight.
Roger, and we confirm your skirt SEP. You're mode 2 now. Roger, mode 2.
3 minutes, 28 seconds. The launch escape tower is ejected on time. Its surveillance will no
Mode
longer
2
required.
They're referring to the abort system, aren't
Yes,
they?
that's a lesser stringent mode. That's you start dropping some of the criteria.
Mark 3 minutes, 45 seconds. Apollo 16 now 62 nautical miles altitude, 135
They're very
nautical
small
miles
clouds up there. We see
Apollo
them from here,
16
but they're way
33 feet
downrange.
shorter and 9,000 pounds lighter. Unencumbered now for its mission in space.
90 seconds. T-minus 90 seconds. Countdown continuing smoothly. S4B propellants pressurized. The indication now using the workaround showing the S4B propellants have been pressurized. Now looking at the liquid hydrogen tanks as they become pressurized. LH2 aboard the second stage pressurized. All propellants now aboard the second stage pressurized as we approach the 1 minute mark in the countdown. Mark T-minus 1 minute and counting now in the final minute of the countdown. At T-minus 45 seconds, Gene Cernan will make the final guidance alignment. This is the Mark T-minus 45, and Gene Cernan made that final guidance alignment. That's the last action taken by the crew aboard the space vehicle. Now approaching the half-minute mark. T-minus 33, T-minus 30 seconds, and continuing on now. Continuing on at the T-minus 26-second mark, T-minus 25. We'll get a final guidance release at the T-minus 17-second mark. T-minus 17, final guidance release. We'll expect engine ignition at 8.9 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, ignition sequence started. All engines are started. We have ignition. 2, 1, 0. We have a liftoff. We have a liftoff, and it's lighting up the areas. It's just like daylight here. Saturn V is moving off the pad. It has now cleared the tower.
Says we look good. We're now at 2.5 miles.
Mark, mode 1 Bravo.
Roger, 1 Bravo, we're going 1 minute.
Roger, Gene, you're looking great. Right on the line.
Everybody says looking great. Right on the line. We're now 1 mile downrange. Launch vehicle 4.2 miles high. Coming up on maximum dynamic pressure at this point. 4 miles downrange, 8 miles high, and the velocity approaching 3,000 feet per second.
Looking great. Stand by for mode 1, Charlie 50.
Dynamics officer says we look good on all sources, right on the trajectory.
Roger, 17, your go.
Flight Director Gene Kranz taking a status for staging. We say we look good for staging.
Roger, we'll go here. Inboard cutoff.
Roger, inboard.
Inboard engine shutting down on time as planned. Crew will experience maximum G-forces of about 4 Gs at shutdown.
Coming up on first stage shutdown. And we've had shutdown on time on the first stage.
5. Roger, they're looking here. Look good.
Sure felt like it. I think we saw them all from here.
Roger, Jack, and the thrust is going. All 5 of them. They're running good.
Okay, 3 minutes in, we're go.
Roger, 17. Roger, we confirm skirt tip.
Tower. Ah, there she goes.
Roger the tower, you're mode 2.
Roger, mode 2.
The steering has converged and CMC is go. You're going right down the pipe, 17.
Okay, Bob, I do confirm guidance. That's the automatic guidance system, the inertial guidance system performing properly. Breakers, and we've seen it all. Ignition, staging, and tower.
Roger, got you.
Apollo 17, now 65 miles high. Okay, 4 minutes and we're go here, Bob.
Roger, Gene, we're going around the road. Look, go here. You're looking real good, Gene. Right down the line.
Okay, 4:30 and we're still going forward.
Roger, 17, you're go.
Let me tell you, this night watch is something to behold. Coming up on 5 minutes, everything still looks very good in the launch of Apollo 17. The launch vehicle spacecraft now 80 miles high, 230 miles downrange.
50 seconds and counting. We have the power transfer. We're now on the flight batteries within the launch vehicle. 45 seconds. Final reports coming from Frank Borman at this time. Final look at the switch list aboard the spacecraft. 35 seconds and counting. We'll lead up to an ignition sequence start at 8.9 seconds. This will lead up, as we build up the thrust, to a liftoff. If all goes well, at 0. We just passed the 25-second mark in the count. 20 seconds, all aspects, we are still go at this time. T-minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. We have ignition sequence start.
And there's the flame from those 5 first-stage engines. What a tremendous sight. The brilliant orange flame blowing out in all directions from underneath that rocket. And we have liftoff, moving very, very slowly now as the base of that rocket, burning brilliantly against the Florida sky, moves up past the tower. The rocket has cleared the tower, and there she goes on her way to the moon. There goes the Saturn V rocket, taking man on his first visit to the vicinity of the moon.
32 seconds. Visitor says the F-1C, the first stage, looks good.
Everything fine through the eyeball here at Cape Kennedy. That voice you hear is Paul Haney at Mission Control in Houston.
Their progress is 50 seconds into the flight.
All clear, very slow climb.
1 minute out, and Mike Collins tells the crew we're looking good.
Looking good here at Cape Kennedy to the eyeball. A huge red ball of flame in the sky. The other voice is Paul Haney at
1 minute,
Mission Control.
15 seconds, and we're a little more than half a mile into the sky and about nearly 4 miles downrange.
A huge vapor trail has just started to come out from the rear end of the rocket as it climbs away from us here at Cape Kennedy. Paul Haney at Mission Control. And Mort Cribb now can see from the outside the
1
possibility.
minute, 40 seconds.
We should be getting very close to staging. All right, I can see it. It's like looking into a welder's torch to look into that brilliant flame, but it is getting dimmer now. I can still see the rocket. And pretty soon we should be having
6/10 into the mission, and
Frank Borman has confirmed each event as it's been passed to him by Mike Collins at this point.
We now should have the engines cutting off on the first stage.
Go for staging.
Go for staging.
Inboard out on time, Frank Borman says.
That means
the inboard engines.
The engine in the middle has cut out.
2 minutes, 25 seconds.
The 4 outboard engines to stop next. A beautiful vapor trail from that Saturn V rocket. A wide vapor trail, and there it is. I saw the flash.
An F1C, the first stage cut off. S2 has ignited, we can confirm.
And I can see the first stage falling back towards the Earth now.
Looks good. All engines, all sources show the second stage is burning perfectly. 2 minutes, 51 seconds into the mission.
We have it. Second stage has come off successfully. The rocket is now under the power of the 5 engines on the second stage.
And at 3 minutes into the flight, the range safety console has been released at the Cape. 3 minutes into the flight, we're 50 miles high and about 10 miles downrange.
50 miles high, and we can still see the rocket and the vapor trail.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
Okay, we got a roll program.
Neil Armstrong reporting the roll and pitch program. 8 miles downrange. Velocity 4,000 feet per second.
Stand by for mode 1, Charlie. Mark, mode 1, Charlie. 1, Charlie.
Cliff Charlesworth taking a staging status.
This is Houston. You are go for staging. Inboard cutoff.
Inboard engines out.
I'm inboard cutoff.
Downrange 35 miles, 30 miles high. Standing by for the outboard engine cut down now.
There it is, right on the tick.
And ignition. Houston, thrust is go. All engines, you're looking good. We got skirt step. Roger, we confirm skirt step. Tower's gone. Roger, tower.
Neil Armstrong confirming both the engine skirt separation and the launch escape tower separation.
Houston, be advised the visual is go today. This is Houston, roger out.
Yeah, they finally gave me a window to look out. switching machine. Okay, we still have good data then. Ecom flight, how are you? Looking good, flight. LOM, Jim Morale, Astrocom uplink disabled. How are you, Booster? It looks good, flight. S1C looks good. Roger. Flight report, S1. Mode 1, Bravo, Apollo 8. 1B. Fido, flight, how are you? We're go, flight, right on. Ecom? Looking good, flight. GNC? We're good, flight. Booster? Go, flight. Okay, Capcom, we look good. Apollo 8, you're looking good. Yeah, really, flight. Roger. Roger on the cabin. Fido, you take the car correct? Flight Fido, trajectory go. Roger, Fido. How you, Booster? Let go, flight. Guidance, flight, how you? Looks good, flight. Real good. Okay. Stand by for 1 Charlie. Mark 1 Charlie. Mark, mode 1 Charlie, Apollo 8. 1-3. Staging status, Booster. Go, flight, Fido. Go, flight, guidance. Guidance, flight. Go, flight. Staging status. We're go. Go for staging, Captain. Apollo 8, Houston, you are inboard out, flight. Staging, over. Inboard out, flight. Copy, inboard out, about on time, huh? Right. How you, Econ? Looking good, flight. Stay a little noisy. GNC, we're go, flight. That work, you get that CP back in? But checking, flight. Okay. ETO 2 minutes, flight. Okay. S1C cutout. Roger. S2 ignition. Roger, S2. All engines good? AU shift. Thrust looks good, flight. All engines. Roger. Flight Fido, trajectory go. Roger, Fido. Flight lane safety go. Roger, no more reports, please. Thank you. Roger. Confirm second plane set, flight. Roger. How you, Fido? We're go, flight, right on. Roger.
velocity 2,195 feet per second.
Fido, flight, how are you? Looking good, flight. GNC? Looks good, flight. Ecom? Looking good, flight. Roger.
We're through the region of maximum dynamic pressure now.
Booster, flight, how are you? We're go, flight. Surgeon? We're go, flight. Everything's good. Roger.
Set 8 miles downrange, 12 miles high. Velocity 4,000 feet per second.
Stand by for mode 1 Charlie.
Stand by for mode 1 Charlie.
Mark.
Mark, mode 1 Charlie.
Staging status. Booster, go. Fido, go. Guidance,
Cliff
go.
Charlesworth taking a staging status.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. You are go for staging.
Inboard cutoff.
Inboard engines out.
We confirm inboard cutoff.
Confirm inboard. Roger.
Downrange 35 miles, 30 miles high. Standing by for the outboard engine cut down now.
Or go flight. Roger. Staging. And ignition. Cut off. Ignition. Roger. Trajectory verify. Roger. Thrusters go all engines. Looks good, Captain.
11 Houston, thrusters go all engines. You're looking good.
Hi, Roger. You're loud and clear, Houston.
At 3 minutes, downrange 70 miles, 43 miles high, velocity 9,300 feet per second.
We got
Roger, we confirm.
second plane step. Roger. Tower's going.
Roger,
Tower's going, Fido.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
Roger, we got a roll program. Flight Fido.
Neil Armstrong reporting the roll pitch program, which puts Apollo 11 on a proper heading. Plus 30 seconds.
Flight line safety is nominal. Roger, RSO. Roll is complete and the pitch is programming.
Roger, roll. Roger, pitch. Stand by for 1 Bravo. Mark, 1 Bravo.
1 Bravo.
1 Bravo is a abort control mode.
In the water. Roger, RSO. Roger.
Altitude's 2 miles.
Okay. Kevin, we're leaving. Roger, how you, booster? We're going flight. Good at 1 minute, Captain.
Apollo 11 Houston, you're good at 1 minute.
Roger.
Downrange 1 mile, altitude 4 miles now. Velocity 2,195 feet per second.
Fido, flight, how you? Looking good, flight. GNC? Looks good, flight. Ecom? Looking good, flight. Roger.
We're through the region of maximum dynamic pressure now.
Booster, flight, how you? We're go, flight. Surgeon? We're go, flight. Everything's good. Roger.
Set 8 miles downrange, 12 miles high. Velocity 4,000 feet per second.
Stand by for mode 1 Charlie.
Stand by for mode 1 Charlie.
Mark.
Mark, mode 1 Charlie.
Staging status. Booster, go. Fido, go. Guidance,
Cliff
go.
Charlesworth taking a staging status.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. You are go for staging.
Inboard cutoff.
Inboard engines out.
We confirm inboard cutoff.
Confirm inboard. Roger.
downrange 35 miles, 30 miles high. Standing by for the outboard engine cut down now.
Or go flight, Roger.
Staging. And ignition.
Cut off ignition.
Booster says the S1C, the first stage looks good. The crew confirms their progress at 50 seconds into the flight.
We're good, flight. Booster. Go flight. Hey, Captain, we look good. Apollo 8, you're looking good. Yeah, really fine.
1 minute out, Mike Collins tells the crew we're looking good. One minute, 15 seconds, and we're a little more than half mile into the sky and about nearly 4 miles downrange. One minute, 40 seconds. All looks great.
Looks good, flight. Real good. Okay. Stand by for 1 Charlie. Mark 1 Charlie. Mark, mode 1 Charlie, Apollo 8. 1-3. Staging status booster.
Mile and 6/10 into the mission, and Frank Borman has confirmed each event as it's been passed to him by Mike Collins at this point.
Apollo 8 Houston, you are inboard out for staging, over.
The crew has been given a go for staging.
Inboard out, about on time, huh? Right.
Inboard out on time, Frank Borman says. The inboard engines.
Looking good, flight. Stay a little noisy.
2 minutes, 25 seconds.
That work, you get that CP back in? But checking, flight. Okay. PTO 2 minutes, flight. Okay.
We see an S1C, the first stage cut off. S2 has ignited, we can confirm.
All engines good. Hey, you shift.
And the thrust looks good. All engines, all sources show the second stage is burning perfectly. 2 minutes, 51 seconds into the mission.
Trajectory go. Roger, Fido. Flight range safety go. Roger, no more reports, please. Thank you.
And at 3 minutes into the flight, the range safety console has been released at the Cape. 3 minutes into the flight, we're 50 miles high
Confirm second plane set, flight.
and about 10 miles downrange.
Roger on the cabin. Flight Fido, trajectory go. Roger, Fido. How you, booster? Play Delphi. Guidance, flight, how you? Looks good, flight. Real good. Okay. Stand by for 1 Charlie. Mark 1 Charlie. Mark, mode 1 Charlie, Apollo 8. 1-3. Staging status, booster. Go, flight, Fido. Go, flight, guidance. Guidance, flight. Go, flight. Staging status? We're go. Go for staging, Captain. Apollo 8 Houston, you are inboard out, flight. Staging, over. Inboard out, flight. Copy, inboard out, about on time, huh? Right. How you, Econ? Looking good, flight. Stay a little noisy. GNC, we're go, flight.
That work, you get that CP back in? But checking, flight. Okay. TTO 2 minutes, flight. Okay. S1C cutoff. Roger. S2 ignition. Roger, S2. All engines good? AU shift. Thrust looks good, flight. All engines. Roger. Flight Fido, trajectory go. Roger, Fido. Flight range safety go. Roger, no more reports, please. Thank you. Roger. Confirm second plane set, flight. Roger. How you, Fido? We're go, flight right on. Roger. Guidance initiated, flight. Roger.
The crew confirms their progress at 50 seconds into the flight. One minute out, and Mike Collins tells the crew we're looking good. One minute, 15 seconds, and we're a little more than half mile into the sky and about nearly 4 miles downrange. One minute, 40 seconds. All looks great. Mile and 6/10 into the mission, and Frank Borman has confirmed each event as it's been passed to him by Mike Collins at this point. The crew has been given a go for staging. Inboard out on time, Frank Borman says. The inboard engines. 2 minutes, 25 seconds. We see an S1C, the first stage cutoff. S2 has ignited, we can confirm. And the thrust looks good. All engines, all sources show the second stage is burning perfectly. 2 minutes, 51 seconds into the mission. And at 3 minutes into the flight, the range safety console has been released at the Cape. 3 minutes into the flight, we're 50 miles high and about 10 miles downrange. 3 minutes, 25 seconds. We have verified that the tower has jettisoned. The crew has verified the tower has jettisoned.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
After we got a roll program. Flight 5 up to Armstrong reporting the roll and pitch program, which puts Apollo 11 on a proper heading. Plus 30 seconds.
Flight line safety is nominal.
Roger, RSO. Roll is complete and the pitch is programmed. Roger, roll, roger, pitch. Stand by for 1 Bravo. Mark, 1 Bravo. 1 Bravo.
1 Bravo is a abort control mode. In the water.
Roger, RSO.
Roger.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
After we got a roll program. Flight 5 up to Armstrong reporting the roll and pitch program, which puts Apollo 11 on a proper heading. Plus 30 seconds.
Flight line safety is nominal.
Roger, RSO. Roll is complete and the pitch is programmed. Roger, roll, roger, pitch. Stand by for 1 Bravo. Mark, 1 Bravo. 1 Bravo.
1 Bravo is a abort control mode. In the water.
Roger, RSO.
Roger. Altitude's 2 miles.
Okay.
Kevin, we're leaving.
Roger, how you, booster?
We're going flight. Good at 1 minute, Captain.
All 11 Houston, you're good at 1 minute.